identity interested me a lot. In fact, I had written some poems, around this theme before being a poet. Though this might be an adjacent topic to your book, I want to start with it with two questions.
Sure.
So, one of the things on identity that you said was all our selves are changing over the time. And if that is the case, then what happens to our identity? Aren't there entirely accidental careers and specializations people choose for themselves, distinct from their identity? Like, I'm into writing, but I'm an accountant. There's no connection at all between the two things, are totally opposite, stark opposite. So, how do you relate these things? Could you please share your thoughts on that?
This is my case as well, Lavanya. I like human behavior, mostly interested in behavioral science, but I am in corporate. I think it has mostly happened to most of us here. Now, I think there are two questions here, right, Lavanya? The first question was about the identities, is it, or is it about the cells changing, and so is the identity? The thing is, if you look at the science behind cell getting regenerated, to be specific, it's about 330 billion cells getting replaced daily. Imagine the number of cells getting replaced daily. Now, in a span of 7 to 10 years, you have all your cells replaced. Not just cells, every atom in those cells. Go down to the level of your DNA. Every atom in the DNA gets replaced every 7 to 10 years. And right now, you're holding nothing that you held 7 years back. Physically, you have a complete new set of material. Although it's nature. Nature tries to maintain a particular format, a shape. It seems like nature is interested in keeping this closed body system as close as possible. It's about cells, right? But then, even your identity is preserved. Even because if you go down to your brain, how the memory is structured, that is the result of your identity. The way your brain is structured. I have written about a shadow model in my book, where I show that I place few balls and then project a shadow by projecting some light. I get a shadow on the wall, and you can see by moving those balls, you can see the shadow moving. If you move the balls in a particular fashion, the shadow also move in a similar fashion. Your identity pretty much remains the same throughout the course of your life. And obviously with different mindfulness practices, you obviously can change a lot of things in your behavior and a lot of changes to the attributes of your behavior. But overall, you as a person remains the same. And I guess your next question is more or less similar to it, that even though we have different identities, we are in a different career, accidental career that you're saying. But we are in an accidental career. I think the main cause of it is, by the time we realize our true potential, we come to an age where we are already doing something. Say, by the age of 30, you realize that, no, I was supposed to be in the field of psychology, but I'm doing farming. Isn't it? Completely different field we choose. Why does it happen? Because the early we choose our career, the earlier we come to know about our true potentials or our true skills, is better to identify, our line of career, right? I guess it has to do with a lot of counseling. Maybe at the time, in our times, a lot of guidance was lacking. I can speak for myself. I never knew what I wanted to become at that age. My father thought, you go and study, get an engineering degree, and you will probably, he made sure that I have a secure future, which I have. I can thank my father for that. I do work in the corporate sphere, and then I have a good job, stable job, you can say, or touch wood, stable job. Recession is coming. I have a stable job, good income, but at the end of the day, I always feel that some sort of gap is still there. But then I also want to emphasize, the moment you come to know your true skills or your hobbies that you want to bring forward in your life and want to do something about it, you always have the chance to club it up with what you're doing at that moment, at this moment. I mean, you don't need to leave your job. You can be in the same job, and you can still cultivate your passion or your potential, your true potential that you have just realized, and you can mix and match with your current profession, which I'm doing right now. I'm in the corporate sphere, and what I'm doing is corporate psychology. My interest in psychology, there is a subject called corporate psychology. I can very well get into it, and I am in it as we speak. Right? I've started doing some course as well. I can talk about it later. But the thing I'm saying is, they say that you're never too late, isn't it? But I will say you're also not in the wrong place either. They talk about time, right? You're never too late. But I'll also talk about the space. You're never in the wrong place either. Because right now I'm in corporate, I can still fuse it with my skills, with my different skills. Answer your question, Lavanya?
Yes, yes, and very true. I mean, none of us, I think, at least for our generation, because
Yeah.
Srinivas Garu will also agree to that. Our parents shaped our career. Especially in South, it's either you become an engineer or you become a doctor. That's it. They don't know anything else. And when I said
All
I
over India, not just South, all over India.
okay,
If you're
or
not a doctor or an engineer, you're nobody.
yeah, times are changing now, and good that. I mean, I think this is a really different book in terms of where you are kind of mapping identity and career. How, like, sometimes knowing your identity to the fullest extent would definitely help in your career shaping or to do better what you have been doing. So, I mean, for me, it was like very enlightening when I read that.
Just one more thing, Lavanya, before you move on. I
Uh-huh.
just want to highlight here. If you have realized that you have a certain identity, I have also laid it down in the book as A, B, C, D, E type of identities. If you have realized your identity, if you know which type of identity you are, what type of identity you have, don't try to change it. Because
Yes.
every one of us are unique. Even though you try to change your identity, it will not happen.
Mm, sure.
It's all about realizing and finding yourself. The moment you found it, the moment you have found yourself, play with it. Don't change yourself. Yeah.
Well said.